Can you retire at 55 with $1 million? That's what I'm going to step you through in this video. Hi, I'm Camille Gaines. Here and on my website, retirecertain.com, I write about investing for about the past 40 years, as well as creating alternative income streams over the past 15 years after my husband stumbled into early retirement. If this topic interests you, subscribe to my channel and click that little bell so you know when I post new videos. So let's get back to, can you retire with $1 million at 55? All right, let's step through the numbers. First of all, you're going to start with how much money you spend right now. Then you're going to define how that meets your needs. Does that amount of spending allow you to live the lifestyle that you really want? I like to really start with, or sort of focus on, the life that we really want, and then doing the things we need to do in order to accomplish that, instead of focusing on, we have this much money so we can't do these things, we only can do these things. So I like to start with the lifestyle and then make the things happen that will allow us to live that lifestyle. So first, see how much you're spending every month. Clean it up a bit if need be. Almost everybody can benefit from that. In other words, prioritize a bit, get rid of things that are kind of wasting money. I'm not encouraging waste. I think it's very important to prioritize and spend your money only on the things that you really care about spending them on. So get your expenses cleaned up, see how much they are, and then adjust them for that desired lifestyle that you really want. The next step is to decide if you want to make retirement withdrawals while you're living in retirement, or if you want to generate income streams while you're living in retirement. The other alternative is to do a combination of those two strategies. We'll start with making retirement withdrawals. Now, the way this works is you just withdraw a certain percentage, a very low percentage of your money that you've accumulated in your investment accounts. Hopefully, that will be money that your investment accounts have earned, either from dividends or capital gains over the years, or the compounding of that money over the years. Unfortunately, that's not always the case, particularly during bear markets, which is why bear markets are so detrimental to retirees. But what we'll do is look at how much money you can get from a traditional and typical retirement withdrawal, regardless of where that money comes from. And we'll assume that you've been saving for retirement for decades, so the withdrawals are going to come from that nice layer of earnings in your retirement account. So 4% is the traditional retirement withdrawal amount that was originally come up with by someone named William Bingham, who was obviously very smart with this type of thing. And he concluded, after extensive research, that a retiree could withdraw 4% and not run out of money. And I believe that was for over a 30-year retirement. It was a long time frame, right? All this was well and good, except for the data during which Bingham did his research was a period of much higher interest rates than we have right now. Because of this, there's less certainty whether or not the 4% retirement withdrawal from that original study would really work. But having said that, a lot of people still use the 4%. So in this video, we'll just go with that as an example. But know that you may want to only withdraw 2% or 3%, or you may want to withdraw a little bit more based on what you think you'll get from your investments, what sort of return you'll get, and how long you'll be spending your retirement money. All of this is really important to spend some time calculating, using a good calculator, and figuring out what works for you, not just assuming that the 4% is going to work and that's what you should do. All right, so let's take that $1 million and let's say you are going to withdraw that 4%, $40,000 of money, funds for you to live on in retirement. A lot of people call this retirement income. It's really not retirement income. It's spending your investment savings. I like to be honest and call it what it is. That is what it is. And that generates about $3,333 a month. Now, this is how retirement planning is done. This is the core of retirement planning right here, is withdrawing about 4%, maybe 3% from your retirement savings that you have accumulated and hopefully grown over the years. Now, here's how this works. Because we know that inflation occurs during retirement. And so the amount that's withdrawn every year will have to be increased by the amount of inflation, or else you won't be able to maintain your standard of living. So know that you will be adjusting that 4%, and it will get a little bit higher every year so that you can maintain your standard of living in retirement. And this is probably one of the biggest threats for retirees these days. Okay, so now you know how much you'll have if you retire at 55 with $1 million and you choose to make the retirement withdrawal method. Use that method to pay your bills in retirement. Let's jump over and look at the income method. And I really prefer this method. It's what we decided to do because we did retire around age 50. Employment income was over around age 50 for my husband. And so what we did is we ended up creating income streams because we saw that we did not want to start withdrawing from our retirement account when we were in our 50s. Not only this, but we also felt it was an unreliable method to fund our lifestyle for life, and we didn't really want to cut our expenses. So the income method, with that, you'll take the $1 million and you'll look at various investments and how much income they generate for you. And you'll look at that as a source of funds during retirement. Now, for example, $1 million invested in the S&P 500 index type of stock, so growth type of stocks in the United States stock market, would yield or generate an income of about maybe 1.6, 1.7, maybe 1.8% based on history. So let's just say somewhere around 1.7%. Now, don't leave nasty comments below that you're getting 10% a year from your stocks or 15%. We're not talking about capital gains. We're talking about income from your investments. How much income does the S&P 500 generate? And that income I'm referring to is in the form of stock dividends. Dividends are income and capital gains are capital gains, and that's growth, and growth is less certain than income. Income is much more predictable and much more certain, and it makes sense for retirees. That's why in the old days, retirees planned on bond income for retirement. Okay, so now a lot of people though look at dividend income because interest rates are so low on bonds. Not only that, there's the risk that when interest rates do go up, the value of retirees' bonds will go down. All right, so I wanted to clarify that before I got a nasty comment in the comment section about what return you're getting from your stocks. We're talking about income. Okay. Now, if we look at another investment, because, well, that's not too great. Income of 1.6% is probably not even going to beat inflation. So let's look at something else. What about higher dividend, I should say, stocks? Okay, so you may be able to get 4, 5, 6% from a higher yielding portfolio or even ETF of stocks that have high dividends. In that case, if you had $1 million and you invested that into this portfolio of higher yielding stocks, and we say it was 5%, then you're talking about $50,000 a year of income. Increasingly more common, I should say, is real estate rental properties, which have a much higher return in general when properties are bought right and the economics of the deal look really good. It's possible for an investor to get an 8% or maybe a 10% return, even much higher on their capital, since rental properties can be financed and leveraged. So maybe an investor would have a 15% income on their investment in real estate rentals. Those are 3 examples of different types of investments and income that you can generate from your million portfolio. Of course, there are online businesses which are becoming an increasingly popular investment. I like online businesses simply because they sell at multiples of around 3 times earnings, as opposed to the stock market, which sells at multiples of around 20 times earnings, maybe some stocks 200, 300, 400 times earnings, or there are no earnings. But we would know that it's a lot easier to buy a public stock than it is to invest in an online business. Even though online businesses can be fairly passive, there is that much higher yield that they generate of, 30% if they're selling at 3 times earnings, 30, 33%, something like that. So I've shown you a lot of variation in the income that you can get from different income streams. Some of them you're probably going, ugh, gosh, I'd never do that in a million years. And other ones you're probably saying, that sounds pretty good. I like picking high dividend stocks. Or I know of a financial advisor even that finds high dividend stocks for their clients. So something is probably resonating with you, and that's what I'm hoping for. Now, the third method is if you combine those two, or maybe for the next 10 years or 15 years, you plan on using income generating assets, some of them perhaps requiring a little more effort, and then later in retirement, maybe when you're 75, you'll plan on making retirement withdrawals. So this is quite different. This perspective I'm giving you is quite different from the traditional retirement plan of just saying, I'm going to withdraw 3% or 4% to live, and I'm going to have Social Security. This is about creating income streams, which absolutely takes more effort than making a retirement withdrawal simply from your account. But it's something that I think a lot of people will find enjoyable and stimulating in retirement. It's not for everybody. Some people just want to make that retirement withdrawal, cut their expenses to the bone, and get by with that. And other people, we all have what we want, right? But in this video and on my channel and website, I present a slightly alternative method to simply making those retirement withdrawals and settling and doing something a little bit different. It's for people that really want a little bit different retirement plan. And that's what I spell out in my Ultimate Rise Wealth Plan with 33 different income streams. I'll put a link to it in the description below. Above all, remember, retire certain.